can you begin by just sharing your story? What led you to want to become a functional medicine health coach?
Well, when I went through pharmacy school, functional medicine was not something I had even heard of. And so when I graduated, I went into the typical pharmacy pathways. I worked in the hospital first, and I got in with this compounding pharmacy and really enjoyed the opportunity to be able to produce medicine that was more individualized rather than something that tries to put everybody in the same box because everybody's journey is different and
Mhm.
everybody's needs are different. And I was able to see in that sort of realm that the traditional way of, treating disease or treating, a need for something is that we have all of these things and these are what we choose from rather than there's so many people that just doesn't work for that, they need something different. And so that we did a lot of hormone therapy there. And from there, I kind of got into a little bit of the other functional medicine approaches to things. And I thought, this seems like the way, like we really should be finding out what's wrong and what's causing things to go wrong rather than just, well, this will take care of the symptoms and then let people go about their lives on things. And so it piqued my interest, but then life kind of happened. I had to move away from that job, which I really loved, and didn't really have an opportunity to get back into it until things started going wrong with me. And just in a state of not feeling my best, going to the doctor to find out what's wrong. Everything's normal. I've had all these tests, but I still don't feel well. And there wasn't a lot of people willing to really dig into that with me. So I was kind of left with myself and trying to figure this out. And I thought, we need more people that want to get to the bottom of problems and problem solve with people because it is a time intensive thing and it's a really get to know people kind of thing to help them figure out just which way they need to go. And so I remember feeling alone and lost in that journey and now finding the right kind of people to that I'm starting to feel well. I've started a health and wellness program and started feeling better and found a functional medicine group of pharmacists and I'm learning from them and taking part in that. And it's just been, I'm just much happier with that type of approach rather than what I've witnessed in pharmacy for the last 20 years or so is people's prescription volume keeps tending to get bigger and that just makes me sad because it's not health and I feel like we need to I would rather help people not be on medicine as a pharmacist, which is kind of a funny thing. um if you know not many people are meeting pharmacists that are like, no, we don't want you to be on that medicine. We'd rather figure out why it is you need it and help you reverse that. So I know it's a lot of rambling, but
It was a beautiful story,
just
and so
different.
many people come to FMCA because of their own health journey, because of their dissatisfaction with what the current healthcare system has to offer them. And I believe that pharmacists are really the front line because for many people, especially in rural parts of the country, that their pharmacist is it for them. That is their provider. They see a pharmacist much more frequently than they would a doctor, a primary care doctor. And coaches plus pharmacists or a pharmacist coach is really the way to go. So what attracted you about FMCA? What do you hope to get out of our training?
Well, read the kind of the program outline. I love the what I have struggled with personally is I can learn the science, I can apply it. Where I tend to struggle is having the really encouraging and hard conversations with people that make them want to have the change. Um, and I felt like your program was geared towards really helping with that part as well, because if we can't motivate people to do the change, then really nothing. is going to happen. And until they decide that it's a priority to them or can connect with the part of them that they're missing and seeing where they can gain if they put their health and their wellness as a priority in their life. I tend to be a people pleaser by nature. And so sometimes that means not always saying what they need to hear or being able to deliver it in a way that it can be impactful for them and not necessarily offensive or, you know, where they become defensive to the statements, that kind of thing. And so I was really looking for something that could, you know, show me the outline, but also teach me how to deliver the encouraging, you know, steps towards one's optimized health.
And that is exactly what we do here. And that's because of the remarkably effective discipline called positive psychology, where you focus on what's wrong with people and not what's wrong with them, and help them to see that they have the strength, they have the resiliency, they have what it takes to take those steps to really take charge of their health. And time after time, studies have shown what is the key factor that makes health coaching so successful. And it has to do with this concept of self-efficacy, empowerment, where you feel like, yeah, like I am in charge of my destiny. I can be my own advocate. I can take these steps towards health.
Yeah.
So it's a remarkable process, as you'll see. People get this aha moment where they make that decision that they want to change and that they can change.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would be your dream for the future? So, one thing that struck me when I first got to know you through your scholarship application was that you found that there were no health coaches or there are no functional medicine, that this is an area that is badly in need of services where you are. So, can you describe your community and how you want to use your health coach training?
Yeah. I mean, we're kind of one of the smaller, bigger cities in the state. So as
And
far
that's
as big cities
Kansas.
go, yes,
Mhm.
there's Wichita, Topeka, Lawrence, Kansas City, and then Salina's kind of in the middle of the state. And then east, or not east, west and north is just all rural from there. So there are in the bigger communities functional medicine providers, but there really is not any functional medicine um, direction being given in our community, or not much into those rural communities. And since there are rural communities to the west and north of us, a lot of people do come to Salina for their healthcare, or they count on being able to go there instead of the bigger cities if they can help it. So we even at the pharmacy are serving communities 20 and 30 miles away. So it's a real opportunity to help people, not just in my community, but in the surrounding communities, and um, be that front line for them. You know, like you said, with pharmacists being so accessible day to day, a lot of times people are just walking in and they want to have a conversation with me because they can. I'm not behind, you know, you don't have to get through three people to talk to me. So um, it can offer challenges for sure, but it I like my position in being accessible. So I want to be able to use that time when we can have these short conversations, but I want them to be meaningful conversations that make impact, and not, you know, a rushed conversation. It's like, okay, I got to get back to something else. You gotta go. So I want to be able to kind of change what my role in the pharmacy is to be more available to people and have more impactful, um, inspire more impactful change for their journey. And then you said kind of how would I use it? You know, in my application, I sort of let this vision or dream that's been in my head a long time that I kind of kept to myself. It's like, you know, I wish we could change sort of the face of this. It's not my business. I work for somebody, but I've told him for years, I was like, we need to be a like all-inclusive health and wellness place, like we need to change a little bit about what our image is from that typical pharmacy image to we could be, we would need a lot more space than what we have right now, but we could be the place you go to for your protein shake or your smoothie, or you go to get your health food or your health supplements. And maybe we have some sort of fitness or something going on, like all these things in one space is kind of been in my head. I don't know how to implement it, and that's what I'm really hoping this program will help me put my visions and my dreams into motion and make it happen rather than just staying in my head and wishing it would change. So,
What a beautiful vision. And as you were speaking, I could picture that the center that is a whole health center that has food as medicine and exercise as medicine and medicine, because there are some conditions where medication is absolutely needed, where it's a
yeah.
life or death situation. And but that there's people see the just the wide range of contributors to whole health and how empowering that is, where you could have classes, you can have group consultations, you can have online visits as well, but you can have this as an alternative to what we think of. And there are so many burnt out pharmacists that I've spoken to that they want to be more than just filling the bottles with the or being in charge of that process, or talking to people and just answering questions like how many times a day should I take this, and should I take it on an empty stomach or not. So the
Yes.
real conversations that matter, that are deep, and that's what coaches are trained to do, to have those conversations. And we have many in our community who have similar visions, where they have already created or in the process of creating those kinds of, and they're part of it's the community, because as we know, the community can be the medicine, and just a gathering place for people can be really so impactful in helping people's health, as well as reducing healthcare costs. So
Yes.
I am
I would
so,
love that.
I'm so excited to help you take that vision and make it a reality, as you learn from our faculty, as you become a part of our functional medicine coaching community, when you enter as a student, as well as going on to support you when you are a graduate through our alumni program. So it's been said that when you come to functional medicine, whether that's as a practitioner or as a coach, or wherever you are in your journey, that this is a life community. And so we want to welcome you to that community.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I can't wait for you to start in the next class, and I will have my office hours available for you. We have group office hours for students and graduates, and to support you as you become a functional medicine health coach, which this unique background of blending your pharmacy background with
Yeah.
now functional medicine coaching.
Yes, I'm so happy. I'm very excited. My head has just been like exploding with all these, I could do this, I could do that kind of thing. So I've learned to start writing them down because
That's a good idea. Yeah.
then I can reflect on them
Oh,
better.
love it. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Corey, for being with me today. It's been just a pleasure to get to know you, and congratulations one more time on being one of our scholarship recipients.
Thank you so much.